The City of Bristol, providing beautiful parks, economic development, and a family-friendly community.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the July Joint Board meeting. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance for tonight. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the members of the Joint Board please introduce themselves, starting on my far left?
Cheryl Tebow, Board of Finance.
Jay Carrier, Board of Finance.
Josh Maduro, City Council.
Dave Mills, City Council.
Dave Perleski, City Council.
Mary Fortier, City Council.
Greg Hahn, City Council.
Ron Burns, Board of Finance.
Peter Kelly, City Council.
Marie O'Brien, Board of Finance.
John Smith, Board of Finance.
And I'm Mayor Ellen Zappo-Sasser. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular Joint Board meeting on June 12th, 2018.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion on the motion, clarifications, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is our consent calendar, items 2A through I. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to come before us for the approval of the consent calendar as presented, items 2A through I?
Move approval.
Second.
Last chance, any discussion or pulling off of items of the consent calendar? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is to make an additional appropriation of $80,985 to the Community Development Block Grant Fund operating budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is the monthly revenue and expense report presentation by Controller Diane Waldron.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to go through, you have the report through the end of June, but we did run this like right at the end of June, so there are a lot of accrual entries and a lot of last minute receipts that came in, all the invoices, so you'll get a better idea as we get closer to closing the books later in the summer as to exactly where we are with our expenditures and our revenues. But I'm happy to report that the revenues are basically coming in and trending like I have reported over the last few months. I do expect the tax revenues to come in, and I'm estimating we're probably going to be around $1 million surplus in tax revenues, maybe around there, maybe a little less, a little more. It depends on the 60-day collection that we get. Licenses and fees and permits, those have come in extremely well, primarily due to the building permits. And our investment earnings also have far exceeded what the expectations were. As of through May, we only had May reported in this report. Investment earnings were $814,000 versus $325,000 budgeted. So that's a very good positive result to report, which helps offset the state revenue situation, which you all know. There was no change in any of the state revenues that I had reported last month. So unless anybody has any questions on any of that, I'll answer them. On the expenditure side, nothing really new to report. We are in the process of closing the year, and we have asked all of the department heads and the departments to have all of their invoices into our office by July 20th. So hopefully this is the closeout process. And I think once we start closing out encumbrances, I think we'll have some surpluses in some of the departments as well. The one department which I've reported on that will need some transfers at the end of the year is the Public Works area. And the other, let's see if I got everything here. And then I did want to confirm, right now the Board of Education is still projecting a $1.28 million deficit. I know we've been going back and forth on that and hoping that would be a little bit better. But they did confirm today that right now is what they're looking at. So as of July 10th, they'll probably have a formal request at the Board of Finance to fund that at the end of the fiscal year. Couple of other things I just want to highlight. The auditors have started already. They were here last month for a week. They'll be here a week in July, and then they'll be back out in October until they finish the audit for probably 4 weeks. And then tomorrow, I think I did report last month that we did have a note sale in May. And I did mention we will have another note sale, which is actually tomorrow. It's for $3.8 million, and that is to fund the purchase and demolition for the property across the street. So that project, that note will be permanently bonded in October. But right now we have to roll those notes over. They're due this month, and then we'll permanently finance those in October. And then just one other thing just to mention that's coming up this week, there is a capital improvement planning committee meeting. One of the things that we had mentioned when we started talking, when we did the CIP during the budget process, was to start looking at the long-term plan earlier. So I know a lot of the focus is usually on the first year and the second year during the budget process, but I think it's important to look at the long-term plan, and that will help us determine the projects where we want to fund them and how we can fund them. So with that, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. And just if anybody's interested, there is still $738,000 in contingency, which will help our situation with the Board of Education and the state grants that we lost.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our controller?
No,
Okay.
I covered everything.
You did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Is there any other business that the joint board members would like to raise tonight? I just have one item. In terms of the strategic planning piece that we're talking about, we're also looking at data tracking and accountability. And for the fire department, of which I'm on the budget subcommittee, we did meet yesterday to talk about how to track the new 24/72 schedule and look at the comparisons of how sick time is being allocated versus previous years. And we've only had data for 2 months, for May and June of 2018, but we contrasted that with May and June of 2017, and they are using 2.5 times less overtime in just that 2-month snapshot. This is not a data trend yet, it's only 2 months, but the Budget Committee will be meeting quarterly to review those numbers, and we'll report back appropriately as we see that data continue.
Good.
With no other business, motion to adjourn would be in order.
Move it.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the monthly meeting of the City Council. I'd like to ask those of you who are able to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the members of the City Council please introduce themselves, starting on my far right?
Peter Kelly, 2nd District.
Greg Hahn, 1st District.
Mary Fortier, 3rd District.
Dave Perleski, 2nd District.
Dave Mills, District 3.
Josh Maderos, District 1.
Town Clerk Therese Peck.
And I'm Mayor Ellen Zappo-Sasso. The first item on our opening ceremonies agenda is a moment of reflection. We can do that for members of our armed forces that are serving overseas, especially those that were involved and continue to be involved with the cave rescue in Thailand. Thank you. The second item on our agenda is the approval of our minutes of the regular City Council meeting on June 12th, as well as the special meeting on May 24th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, clarification, or concerns regarding the minutes as distributed? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries for both sets of minutes. Our third item is public participation, and the first item is our nonprofit spotlight, which for this month is Brian's Angels, and I'd like to ask Patricia Stebbins to come forward and give us a quick overview of her organization. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you. Just trying to find my notes. Thank you, everyone, for letting me come speak. I promise I won't make it a half-hour show. Basically, how we started is while I was out walking my dog, I noticed many homeless in Bristol. And 3 years ago, next month actually, is when we started passing out our first ice water. We went from ice water to somebody handing me $500 who wanted to help, and we went on from our ice water to loving bags. Loving bags included socks, soap, oral supplies, feminine supplies, deodorant, toiletries, and anything else we could fit into the bags. About 18 months later, which is 2 years ago tomorrow, we started the space at the cooling center. So we've been going 2 years nonstop, all volunteers, all community participation for the food and the space. Bristol's been pretty amazing. Last year, we officially became a 501c3. We finally got a board of directors, and we're looking for a bigger place. So I'm asking all of you to keep helping me look. I want to thank everyone for your support. It's been one of the most amazing things of my whole life. And just want to say thank you. We're filling a void, we're getting critical supplies out, and we are saving lives, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you. Does
Under 2
anybody,
minutes.
yes, very much so. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Pat?
Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would encourage all of you to come take a quick visit and see what we're doing. We're 1 to 5, 7 days a week and holidays, so there's plenty of hours in there.
Excuse me, Pat. Is there something that you need now that the public can help you with that is in short supply?
Food is always in short supply. I just found out we're out of lunch meat and cheese and fruit, so that's a biggie. Other than a location, at this point, it's usually food.
Okay.
Shorts, we need shorts. Summer clothes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our public participation sign-up is Al Chops Chinchetti.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is only going to take a few minutes. First, I'd like to say, like Tim Gamache wrote the article in the paper, this lady was way out of line making her statements that she did about you going to a baseball game. Your first allegiance to anybody is to one's family. Zappo's second allegiance is to the city of Bristol. In no way, shape, or form was she being disrespectful. It's not that she was attending a military funeral. What if she had to catch a plane out of Bradley? What if she had an appointment at St. Francis Hospital and she had to leave? Also, a lady talked about her people that was in a service. I did a little due diligence. Peter Sassu Sr., Peter Sassu Jr., her son Zachary is in harm's way, I think, in Afghanistan. And there is also Zappo Arch Angilio, who served. So it's not like she's the only one who had relatives that served. My main reason for being here is I want to do a little due diligence, give you a little background, and then I'll make my proposal. I looked up in a street map streets that had the word W-A-Y named after it. I came up with Aspen Way, Empire Way, Jeanette Way, Owens Way, Tyler Way, Wilderness Way, Woodside Way, Dorset Way, Sterling Way, and there's a few others. I also looked up names of streets. Some have 2 names, some have even 3. Lady Slipper Lane, Hidden Brook Road, Hurley Hill, Mill Pond, Old Farm Road, Pheasant Run Road. That being said, what I try to do is get you a little background And what I want to do is make a formal proposal to the mayor and city council. And it reads as such. I, Al Chopson Chetty Jr., am making a formal request that the mayor and city council do their part to consider naming the new road at Depot Square or Central Square. I want to name it Nicastro and Ward Way. These two gentlemen have dedicated their lives to the city, to the state, and to their country. Mr. Frank Nicastro has been a councilman, mayor, Navy veteran, and state rep of Connecticut. Mr. Art Ward has also been a councilman, mayor, Marine veteran, and is also working, or was working with the state of Connecticut as a Veteran Affairs officer. Together, they have over 80 years of service. This would be an iconic way to give them the praise and recognition they are so deserving of. It is my personal opinion that this is an excellent suggestion. I also want to note there is no street in Bristol, according to the street directory that I checked, there's no street in Bristol that has two people's name on it. I want to consider this to seriously make this the first one. And the most appropriate thing is to be right downtown. The hospital is there to help people, and these guys spent their life helping people. So this is my request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We actually have, may I have that for a submission? We are actually starting the process of determining how that's going to be done. We do want to involve the public, so this will be our first submission, so to speak. Okay. We do feel strongly that the public should be involved in some type of involvement with the naming, because we think it's important that the public feels invested in hopefully turning the page on the nostalgic old downtown and what the future is going to be.
I appreciate it.
So this will be the first in the box. Thank you, Chops.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who is here that would like to speak to the council that maybe did not have the opportunity to sign up on the sign-up sheet? Okay. Moving on to announcements. I'd like to start on my far right tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. I was recently privileged to attend a dinner with the mayor, Councilman Mills, and Prolesky, my wife Sheila, and it honored the Barnes Group commemorating their 160th anniversary. And it is remarkable that the business has been around for that long and continues to be a leader in the aerospace industry, as well as a global manufacturer of highly engineered, high-quality precision parts, products, and systems. Bristol is thankful to the Barnes Group and the Barnes family for their economic and philanthropic contributions to the city. And the mayor did a credible job that night with her speech, but the star of the evening was Lily Barnes, who gave a speech honoring her great-grandfather, Wallace Barnes. So I'd like to congratulate once again the Barnes Group and the Barnes family for all their efforts and contributions to the city of Bristol. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Hahn?
Yes, I'd like to just make sure that everybody's aware that of the water mains being flushed, particularly in and around the First District in the next couple days. You're going to experience low pressure and discolored water, so it's a good idea not to be washing your clothes. I know it's been a topic of discussion on social media and so forth lately, but if you'd like to take a look, you can go to the mayor's Facebook page for the mayor's office, or you can go to the water department website and you'll see the flushing notices. It's a good idea to know when that's going on in your area.
Thank you. Councilman Forty?
None for me, thank you.
Councilman Prolesky?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have just two brief ones. On July 21st, there'll be an event at Muzzy Field before and during the Bristol Blues game scheduled for that afternoon. At 1:30, a Chinook helicopter is going to land at the field, and between 1:30 and 4 o'clock, which is game time, there'll be different family activities. Any first responder, military a member or a veteran will be able to go to all of the activities free of charge. The second thing is another reminder from the West End Association that its summer festival at Rockwell Park will be held on August 18th. It's a great family day. Hope you can get out and support the West End Association. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Mills.
None.
Just one quick announcement. Just want to announce the Bristol Police Department is conducting a fundraiser at Jake Wayback for their K-9 program. That's going to be on Saturday, July 28th. So if you go to Jake Wayback between 11 and 1 p.m., 15% of all sales will be donated towards that cause. There's also going to be K-9 demonstrations throughout the event, so it should be a good time.
I also just have two quick ones. The first is that we were notified in mid-June that the Memorial Boulevard has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places, which is really quite an accomplishment for the building and is going to contribute toward the restoration and actually afford some grant opportunities as well. It had been placed on the state register a couple of years ago during the task force's work, and then it got forwarded to the National Register consideration. And so this letter puts it officially as accepted. So we'll be forwarding this over to the building committee so that they also can make sure that all of those requirements are included with the RFPs for Councilman Proleski. I also just wanted to note that as things start to happen in downtown, including the trees and the road and the building plans, we've also started to be mentioned, and this was the Town and City June edition of the CCM magazine, where they have an extensive article about economic development and downtowns, and Bristol actually is included. So that is a very positive, as opposed to the many years that we spent talking about the acres of asphalt. So from a positive standpoint, Bristol is starting to regain some traction with downtown and economic development in the same sentence. And I think that's it for me.
Farmers market.
Actually, the farmers market, thank you, Councilman Mills. We are launching our second set of farmers markets on Wednesdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on Federal Hill Green. A lot of the same vendors and some new ones that can't make the Saturday market will be there on Wednesdays. We also have a food truck coming tomorrow. The Mum Festival Committee will be there, and all of these events, including the ones that you've heard announced tonight, plus others, are all available on the bristolallheart.com website. And I encourage anyone who's looking for up-to-date information, not only about city events, but also about community events, to utilize the All Heart portal so that they can get up-to-date information and details. Employee recognition. Does anybody have anything to bring forward? I'd just like to mention that we have the Bristol Burlington Health Director, Chuck Motes, who is retiring this month. His announcement is going to be announced shortly. He's done a great job at the Bristol Burlington Health District, really meeting the needs of both the community of Burlington and Bristol, both of which have very different needs on different days. And he's actually still very active and is going to continue to participate in our opioids task force, of which he's been a very high contributing member. So I'd just like to wish Chuck good luck in his retirement, and we're very happy to have him on the opioid task force. Okay, I'll turn this over to our city clerk for the consent calendar. I guess the first motion, in continuing with what we've been trying to do to have efficiency, is we're going to, again, do the motion to waive the reading.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Motion.
opposed? Okay, go ahead.
Motion to accept the consent calendar.
Okay, the motion has been put forward to accept the consent calendar, items A through M.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Your Honor, I'd like to just talk about C if I could for a moment.
Okay, why don't we approve it?
Okay.
And then you can have the floor. Any other concerns? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Mills.
Yes, I'd just like to thank Firehouse Subs and what their program is doing. Obviously, this is something that, when they came to town, this was something that they proposed to do. And obviously, getting an award of $36,655 is something pretty special from the business to do for us. So I just wanted to point out that it's great to have someone come to town that says they're going to do something and then goes ahead and follows through with it. So I hope that we can send them something as some type of thank you on the behalf of the city.
I believe the fire department has already visited, and I think a plaque and a thank you is in the works.
Great, thank you.
Did you want to just briefly touch upon item M, since we're discussing consent agenda items, the marketing plan?
Yes, briefly. The marketing plan has been adopted. Just a few major differences. The first one is a change in priority of target audiences to emphasize marketing to current residents and current business owners instead of concentrating on new businesses, owners, and residents. Obviously, we always want to concentrate on new business, et cetera, but we really need to market to ourselves. We really need to market to the people that are here and let people know exactly what's going on in the city that's beneficial to the city. Our goals are basically new. We want to increase awareness, obviously. Many of the strategies are similar to what the new twists and new tools. About 25% of our tactics are being carried over. And I don't know if everybody got a copy of the marketing plan, but if you didn't, we can get you a copy. And I know that we adopted it, but it's something that I think that you can be proud of what Justin and Mark have done to put this together along with the marketing committee. So obviously there's a big emphasis to try to get people to go to All Heart, to our website, and really watch Uniquely Bristol and the All Heart blogs. So that's a very brief synopsis. And again, if there are any other questions and you want to see another copy of it, we can get that to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Therese, do you want to take over for the reports and committees?
Well, the first 5 are ordinance committee, so.
Thank you. We have 5 items from the ordinance committee. What I'd like to do is ask that for items 6A, B, C, D, and E, that we waive a motion to waive the reading of the amendments in accordance with the section 21F of the city charter. I hereby move that the reading of the proposed amendments of the Code of Ordinances to be introduced be waived.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, item 6A is a motion in accordance with Section 21F of the city Charter of the City of Bristol, the following amendments to the Code of Ordinances be introduced. I hereby move that the time and place of Wednesday, July 18th, 2018 at 4:30 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 6B, I hereby move that the time and place of Wednesday, July 18th, 2018 at 4:40 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, item 6C, in accordance with Section 21F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, the following amendments to the Code of Ordinances are hereby introduced. I hereby move that the time and place of Wednesday, July 18th at 4:45 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6D, in accordance with Section 21F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, the following amendments to the Code of Ordinance are hereby introduced. I hereby move that the time and place of Wednesday, July 18th, 2018 at 4:55 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the ordinance committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, from the ordinance committee, Your Honor, agenda item 6E, I hereby move that the time and place of Wednesday, July 18th, 2018, be at 4:50 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the ordinance committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good thing we got you an intern for the ordinance committee.
We have an intern?
You have an intern.
We do.
Yes.
Good news.
Okay.
May I
Okay.
continue? Or?
You can continue.
Item 6F is from the Code Enforcement Committee. The Code Enforcement Committee has voted to recommend to the City Council to recommend the approval of a tax assessment freeze application for Jonathan Lickey, owner of 12 North Street, Bristol, Connecticut, for the rehabilitation of a blighted property with the restoration of a single-family structure per Section 5-57 of the Bristol Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, do you want to just go into, we'll go to the real estate items since you have the floor?
Thank you, Your Honor. The section, agenda item 6H. I hereby move that the city of Bristol quit claim the remaining portion of land known as 220-222 South Street on map 31 of the Bristol Assessor's Office to Ryan A. Benoit. I further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Counsel to prepare and/or review any necessary documents. And I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 6I. I hereby move that the following property be referred to the Planning Commission for a General Statute 8-24 report, the Real Estate Committee, and to the Public Works for a determination of future municipal use. A certain parcel of land to the west of map block lot 20-92A, known as Jennings Place.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Your Honor, I'd like to table agenda item 6J, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor of tabling the Real Estate Committee report for Brewster Road?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, agenda item 6K. I hereby move that the City of Bristol seek requests for proposals for the disposition of property owned by the city, known as 63 Gridley Street on map 29 of the Bristol Assessor's Office, with a minimum asking price of $15,000, and that the purchasing agent be authorized to request proposals, and that he send out a press release in addition to the legal notices and update the city website. I further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Counsel to prepare and/or review any necessary documents, and I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
Okay. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have one clarification. For the property on the rear of Brewster Road, you're tabling it for the end of this meeting, or you're actually looking to postpone it to a future date?
I'd like to postpone it to a future date.
Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Your Honor, from the Real Estate Committee, Agenda item 6L, I hereby move that the City of Bristol seek requests for proposals for the disposition of property owned by the city known as 14-16 Lincoln Place on map 23 of the Bristol Assessor's Office, and that the purchasing agent be authorized to request proposals, and that he send out a press release in addition to the legal notices and update the city website. I further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Counsel to prepare and/or review any necessary documents, and I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second?
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mayor, can I just add one more committee report, since I've got the floor and I'm hogging your time?
Sure.
This comes from the fire department and fire board. The fire board would like to remind Bristol residents that the Bristol Fire Department can come to their homes and install new no-cost smoke detectors throughout their one- or two-family houses. The fire department received a federal grant to provide free installation of smoke detectors that have a 10-year sealed lithium battery. And additionally, a smoke and carbon monoxide detector can be installed in homes that require one, also free of charge. Smoke detectors are important life-saving devices that should be in all homes, but especially in older homes that are particularly prone to electrical fires. Please contact the Bristol Fire Department to schedule installation at your convenience by calling 860-584-7964, extension 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We'll go back up to item 6G, the update regarding the Mayor's Opioid Task Force. We are continuing to meet. We are meeting on Thursday, but I will give everyone a brief preview of the fact that we do have a project that we've been working on, and it is a brochure pamphlet that is going to be in the hands of our first responders for when they come upon an opioid overdose situation, that they are going to have something to leave in that home or with family members or the person in general that they can then look at after their medical situation has been resolved, and seek help, have opportunities to look at recovery options, treatment options, as well as other resources that are available in Bristol. The hard copy is going to be You Have Survived an Opioid Overdose. It's currently in the process of being laid out, so it'll be a closed brochure that will be easy to carry in medical bags, and we're hoping to have that to the police department and EMS as well as others by the end of the summer. Okay. Starting on my far left, are there any other committee reports from council members?
None.
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 I have a school
course
readiness
you do.
council report, sure. I'll be brief. 420 children pre-registered for kindergarten, which made it much easier for the Board of Education to prepare for this fall. So if you have a child in kindergarten who's going to be entering kindergarten who's not yet registered, please contact the centralized registration, 129 Church Street, as soon as possible. And the school readiness program works in collaboration with the Bristol Fire Department to have firehouse tour and T-shirt events. And in some cases, the fire truck will actually visit the specific school. So if you have an interest in that and you're a parent, please contact your children's school. And finally, on August 16th, from 9:30 to 11, the Transition to Kindergarten Committee and another collaborative partner, the Bristol Library Children's Department, is sponsoring the Kindergarten Here I Come event. There's limited seating, so please register with the library. That's it.
Wow. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to unfinished business by council members. Again, we'll start with Councilman Kelly, since this committee report was such a success.
Thank you. I'm all set.
None here either.
None from me, thank you.
None.
None.
Okay, I have a couple of quick items. The first is that we are still pulling together at the staff level information about 10 Main Street and the possibility of it being the future City Hall. We've received one additional staff documentation report, and so I do think that if possible, we should be scheduling a special city council meeting, maybe the first week of August, if everybody is available, in order to keep that process going and see where it takes us in terms of the additional information that we've received. So we'll send something out and check calendars for that. And let's see, we also have, I think, under last month, we did the pension changes to the ordinances in recognition of the new accounting that we're doing and the new piece for the money that we saved during the budget with the cooperation of the police and fire unions. So the two memorandums of understanding have both recently been signed. So I have two of them. One is the fire memorandum of understanding dated today, signed by myself and Union President Sean Lennon, and the police memorandum of understanding that was signed by Police President James Pelletier and the acting mayor David Mills. And so I'm asking for ratification of the memorandums of understanding in conjunction with the pension changes that the ordinance committee has enacted.
So moved.
Second.
First, we have to have a motion to bring those onto the agenda for the motion. So is there a motion to bring the two memorandums of understanding onto the table?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, if somebody would like to make a motion to ratify the two memorandums, and what happens here is that they are placed as part of the contract, and they are considered part of the contract for the duration of this current language. Both the police and fire unions are in negotiations starting next spring. This language will continue until the expiration of their current contract, will either be reviewed, modified, or changed, pending whatever those negotiations bring.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the ratification of the memorandums of understanding. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The last item is just a reference to, at previous meetings, we have discussed our Clean and Green initiative to encourage businesses and residences to keep up their properties as the city is currently doing with all of our city-owned properties. We do have, and this will be a segue to my first item for new business, the mayor's office does have 7 interns that are working with us this summer, and this has been assigned to one of them. They have started with Riverside Avenue Gateway, and they are expanding that to other major traffic areas in the city to begin with, and then we will be expanding in conjunction with Public Works with a kind of an adopt-a-block program as well. So I'll just segue into saying I'd like to welcome the 7 young people who are working in my office. If any of you have any pet projects that you've always kind of wanted to do some research on but maybe haven't had time, I'd like to make them available to you. And one of them is a law student, and he will be working in conjunction with my office and the Corporation Counsel's office. He was here today, so he will be doing some help with the ordinance committees. And 3 of them are in high school, 2 are in college, 1's going to college, and like I said, 1's in law school. So I think it'll be a great fit for all those pieces that we never get to. Okay, we are moving on to new business. I know that we have some items to bring onto the table that I would like to do now just for clarification purposes. I know that we have a request that Councilman Maderos has for a grant that came in late that we'd like to catch that window for.
Sure.
So,
I wanted to make a motion to add a new business item on the agenda for opioid crisis response mini grant consideration.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to bring onto the table a grant application request. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Maderos.
So the grant was presented this afternoon via email from Eileen McNulty, our Director of Youth Services and Community Services. Like most grants, there's a timeline window here, and we wanted to get it on the agenda tonight. The motion would be, or I'd like to make a motion to approve the submission of an opioid crisis community grant, mini grant from the North Central Regional Behavior Health Action Organization for $5,000 for the period through April 30th, 2019 for the local Prevention Council Drug-Free Community Coalition.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. So, I probably should have said this under the opioid report, but I'll just take a quick second to say that when we put the opioid task force together, we knew that it was a really large task and almost quixotic in its approach, that we didn't really know if we were going to have the opportunity to make a substantial difference, especially in our community, knowing that this is absolutely a national epidemic. But I think that the first few meetings with so many passionate people involved from all different walks of life, including people who are previous users, who are in recovery, families who are struggling with this issue, healthcare providers, people from outside of Bristol, veterans. The alchemy of this committee has really started to gel, and I really think between our staff people, such as Eileen, Chief Gould, Chuck Motes from the Health District, there's a lot of hands-on support, and I really think, and I'm feeling a little bit optimistic, that we are going to have some type of community plan in place within the next 6 months that I think might actually make a difference. Chief Gould and I are spending some time doing some data tracking because there's some interesting points of entry where calls will come in to the police department and they may not even mention opioid issues. They may be embarrassed, it may be a medical call, it may be unconscious. So we're not getting good data as to what our situation is, but we're hearing from other pieces of the community, healthcare providers, ambulance workers, that there's periods of time where there's multiple responses. So we really need to get a handle on some of this and make sure that we have resources available to people that are in this community to try to, really alleviate some of these issues. So thank you, Eileen, for bringing this to our attention, and thank you to the council for supporting a quick addition to the agenda, because I think that these pieces are really critical. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I believe we have another executive session item that we need to add. Does somebody have that motion?
I do, Your Honor. I hereby move to add an item to the agenda to convene into executive session to consider an employment matter pertaining to the city's Director of Personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And we'll be adding that under maybe 12A. 12A, under when we go into executive session at the end of the meeting.
Or making it 12B with the item that's currently there, 12A.
12B, fine. Thank you. Okay. Did we vote on that?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, moving on. Do we have no other new business? Update, does anybody have new business? Update on shared services. We are continuing to move ahead. We've met with Plainville. They are going to start, and a schedule has been established for when they need building inspection services. Our staff will be over there. We also have access via the internet to their permit process, so we can do a lot via the internet. Our other great regional collaboration, which is several years old, is the Bristol-Burlington Health District, and we are this close to announcing our new health director. That should be coming shortly. We're just checking references as we speak. And future efficiency issues, for those of you who are following charter revision, we do have a proposal to bring water pollution control under the control of the water department, and that is moving ahead and is part of our draft report from charter revision. So, resignations?
There's one resignation, and it's from Derek Chenchaleski from the Board of Finance.
Okay, motion to approve and send a letter of thanks.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And our appointments, we only have a few because I didn't have a chance to circulate the list to you, all of you, as well as ask people from the public if they are interested in serving. So let me start with where we have vacancies. We have now a vacancy on the Board of Finance, and that can be a Republican, Democrat, or unaffiliated voter. So if any of you have interest or you know of anybody with a background that would be appropriate for the Board of Finance, please encourage those people to send resumes to the mayor's office. We have 2 vacancies on the Inland Wetlands Commission, so anyone who has an environmental bent and is interested in that, we have those available as well. And we also have a new vacancy on the Board of Library Directors. I do have one letter on file of interest from someone from the last go-around. I have asked him if he's still interested, but obviously if anybody else is interested, now is the time to let me know as well. Now, for the appointments tonight, the first one is to reappoint Guy Moran, our Chief Building Official, for a 4-year term to July of 2022.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next one is to appoint the acting mayor for the next 4 months, which is a term to November of 2018, and that will be David Perleski. Thank you to Councilman Mills for the last 4 months of your service and for filling in for me when you were able to. Planning Commission, to reappoint John Soares for a 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next one is to reappoint Joseph Kaleda to the Planning Commission as an alternate member, 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. To reappoint David White, alternate member for a 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Retirement Board, to reappoint Paul Keegan, representative from Local Union 1338, to a 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. To reappoint William Viets to a 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. To appoint David Butkus as the fire pension representative per the new ordinance language for a 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. To appoint Peter Dauphiné as the police pension representative per the new ordinance language for a 5-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. To reappoint Patricia Chapman for a 3-year term on the Stormwater Trust Board to July 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last one for tonight is to appoint Frank Ronzello, citizen at large member to the Bristol Transportation Commission for a term to July of 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. The next item is to schedule a city council public hearing to discuss the draft report of the Charter Revision Commission. This will be a special meeting.
And it
This-
looks like you have a quorum for July 19th.
Okay, so we will be doing this on Thursday, July 19th at 7 PM in council chambers, and this will follow the regular monthly meeting of the Public Works Board. Does anybody have any comments, concerns? Okay, hopefully members of the public will come and discuss the proposed changes to the Charter Revision Commission. The report is available on the city website for anyone who is looking to read it. So we'll just say that we don't need a motion. The meeting looks like it's going to be, do we need to set it down for a public hearing?
It doesn't hurt to just
Okay.
make it a motion.
So would somebody be so kind as to make a motion to schedule the city council public hearing to discuss the draft report on Thursday, July 19th, 7 PM?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that here, Roger?
It's in this room, yes. Motion carries. Okay, so we have 2 executive sessions, and I'd like to ask our corporation counsel to come to the podium. To reiterate, we have an executive session regarding the matter of David Regali versus the City of Bristol et al., docket number 3-17, CV 732. And who will be coming in on this?
I'm expecting momentarily Attorney Patrick
He's
Allen.
here. He's here.
Oh, he's here. Oh, there you are. Okay. From the law firm of Karsten and Tallberg. He represents the city, as well as Bristol Police Chief Brian Gould.
Okay, and just for the matter of public record, if we can discuss executive session, the next executive session, who will be going in on that?
That'll just be me.
Okay. All right, so,
And can I just ask for clarification? Will you also be going into the executive session for David Regali?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
So is it appropriate to have a motion to go into executive session to discuss items 12A and 12B?
yes.
So moved?
I'd like to ask for a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are back in regular session. Please let the record show that no votes were taken in executive session. We have two motions to come before us tonight. Councilman Maderos, your motion, please?
Sure. I hereby move that in the matter of David Regali versus the City of Bristol et al., docket number 317 CV 732, U.S. District Court for the District of Connecticut, that payment of $60,000 in full and final settlement of all claims be approved, and that this matter be referred to the Board of Finance and the Corporation Council for any necessary action to effectuate the purposes of this motion.
Second?
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Proleski.
Your Honor, I hereby move that the city approve the separation agreement and general release of all claims between the City of Bristol and Diane Ferguson, and that the mayor, Ellen A. Zapo-Sasu, or acting mayor, be authorized to execute said agreement and any other documents necessary and proper to carry out the purposes of said agreement.
Second?
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any further motions to come before the council? Motion to adjourn would be in order?
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.